Prince William, a vocal figurehead of the modern monarchy, who stands firm against all the tests and trials that come along with his royal role.
Good evening, everybody. I'm delighted to be here this evening as the clear warm-up act for the rest of the night.
William as the future king and the face of that institution ultimately in the future, you know, the whole fallout and all of the difficulties, incredibly damaging and incredibly challenging.
Diolch yn fawr Merig. Diolch von Wistion. Mae'n bleser mawr bod yma. Rwy mor fawr o fod wedi byw ar Ynys Môn Mam Cymru. Rwy hyd yn oed wedi dysgu dipyn o Gymraeg.
William had come to the end of his service in the RAF and wanted to thank the people on the island of Anglesey, where he and his growing family had been based.
I have to say that I thought search and rescue duties over Snowdonia were physically and mentally demanding, but looking after a 3-week-old baby is right up there.
William hung up his military boots and was on the hunt for a civvy gig, something he could combine with the responsibilities of raising a young family and fulfilling his regal duties. What he landed was a job that would fuse the admirable qualities of our future king, bravery and compassion.
For the next major milestone in William's life came a pretty important announcement on Sky News. Here he was with helicopters in the background announcing that he was going to be an air ambulance pilot with East Anglia Air Ambulance, and he was pretty excited about this. He'd already been in the armed forces, but this was another opportunity to experience a different side of life than the one he had been born into.
It's been many exams and training to get here, and I'm hugely excited to be joining a very professional bunch of guys and girls doing a sort of unique, complex job with the air ambulance. It just follows on from search and rescue to here, so it was a natural progression.
William may have been well qualified for the position, but that didn't mean that it wasn't highly unusual for a future king to be choosing this path.
Well, of course, Charles served in the armed forces. He was a naval officer, but he didn't have a job like William, you know, a civilian job.
Well, he checked with his father first, if that was the thing. If his father said, do it, you know, why not? Well, because he'll be doing this royal job for the rest of his life. And he wanted to do something else.
And I think it was a way of him sort of being able to look other people in the eye, knowing that one day when he is king, he's actually done not just a normal job, he's done a really, really important job.
In his revealing Sky News interview, the prince discussed his strategies to cope with the trauma he would witness and deal with the emotional impact thereafter.
Are you mentally prepared for some of the things that you'll have to face, those difficult and traumatic things that you'll come across in this job?
I think nothing ever prepares you that well for what you're going to see and some of the incidences. But having done search and rescue before, we saw a lot of that already. And when you're working with a team, you help each other out and you talk about it, and you get through it that way.
This is not William just going off to be a banker or to be an explorer, working charity. You know, this was an intensely important, intensely pressurised job for William. You know, he was not just sort of box ticking or back at base. He was flying helicopters to major serious incidents. The things that he saw on accidents especially were particularly harrowing.
October 2015, a time that will be etched into William's memory. The prince was one of the first responders to a major collision. Carpenter Jack Beaton, just 17 at the time, was being driven home from work by his uncle Philip when their van was involved in a crash with a lorry. Tragically, his uncle was killed instantly. Jack was touch and go. Prince William had a vital role in keeping him alive.
I was so hands-on from the second they got me out. Everybody was around, and William was doing the collapsed lungs, so he was inflating and deflating their lungs. You can obviously imagine I was in a very bad way, and why William had to be hands-on. He had no choice. He saved my life. There's not more anyone can do for a person. That's up there.
After 140 days in hospital and over 27 operations, Jack recovered from his extensive injuries.
During the accident, I broke my elbow, down to my legs, my back, my pelvis, my jaw. I sustained some brain injury. I had bruising to the heart and collapsed lungs as well.
Jack's girlfriend wrote to William, thanking him for helping to save her boyfriend's life, and later they received a response, inviting them to Windsor Castle.
It's lovely to be able to say thank you again, and just to be able to see the team catch up. It's been a long while since I last see them, and it's been lovely to see William, to be able to shake his hand and thank him for what he'd done for me that day.
He's just such a genuine bloke. He's just going to be a good king. He's going to be my mate as well.